Here's the Honda HRC rear brake reservoir kit. I just got this off eBay, but if you want, here are all the part numbers. You get this tube, little end cap, clip for the end cap, and a clip for the bottom of the tube. For the 93 VFR, I also got a few other parts. This is where this thing's going to plug into, and on the VFR, it's a little bit too big to fit the diameter of the tube. So this is off, I think it was a 2006 CBR600RR. That's the part number right there. And then while I'm doing it, it's held on by a nut or a screw right there. So I got a new screw. And on this side, there's this O-ring. So I got a new O-ring. And the cool thing about this part is on the VFR, it's going straight up and down. But this one's angled 45 degrees to the left, like that. So it's just gonna, I think it's gonna make it easier to route this where I want to. So what I've done here is I got the oil catch can down here. And then I just put this bubble wrap anywhere that brake fluid could possibly touch the bike, because that, you don't want that touching anything really. If you do, wipe it down with soap and water and fresh water right away, it'll eat your paint like nothing. But back here, it's hard to see. If I can get it. So right here, where this hose is coming into, and there's the screw. Taking that off. It's hard to tell, but it's going straight up. This one's going to come kind of this way towards the wheel. And I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm gonna try and wind it kind of up to here under the bodywork. I don't know, we'll see where that pipe's gonna go after I get it hooked up. Okay, so there's the connector. I took it out of here. I just put the screwdriver like that, and gently levered it out, and then you can get the screwdriver in there and just twist it. And it'll pop right out, and just let all your brake fluid drain out. And so you could totally empty this out through the bleeder valve, but I'm just trying to keep as much fluid in there as I can and as little air, so when we bleed it later, it might not even have any air. Okay, so I pulled that whole hose off the bike, and you can see the size difference. The new one is going to fit this diameter, where that old one, I don't know, you could probably squeeze it on there, but this thing is made for this. And then also you can see how it's going straight up. And again, this one's 45 degrees, which I think will work better. I believe the only reason they used a larger diameter was the age of the bike. This was similar generation to the original Hurricane, the F2. I think the last year of the F2 and then the F3, they stopped using the older stuff, you know, that they were using even prior to the hurricane, probably on the CB series, and then they just went to this newer, because this is F3 onwards, and the 94 VFR, pretty sure the 94 VFR uses this diameter. So it's the same rear master cylinder, but it's just different diameters. So I don't think it's going to affect anything. Here's the old reservoir. I went ahead and took the cap off and wiped it out really well with the paper towel, and then shot some compressed air through the hose. That way it won't get gummed up. I'll just, I don't know, keep it just in case. Before, well, after you take this off, make sure you get this O-ring. The O-ring is seated into the master cylinder. So just use your fingernail or screwdriver to pry it out. And then take your new O-ring, and you want to seat that into the master cylinder first with your finger. Just get it into the groove there, and then your new connector there, you're going to slide that in gently, and it'll seat right up. And you're going to line up the hole on the bottom and put your new screw in and tighten that down. So that's going to look like this. You see there on the right, that's the new connector, and we're kind of angled sideways a little bit to the left. So this is how you assemble the pieces to the kit. I decided to use the whole tube for now. You don't need to. You could go pretty short. You could probably go like all the way down to there if you wanted. The main thing is to leave, once you have the cap on, to leave a air gap in the line, maybe an inch, just so the brakes work properly. They need that air gap. That's what you have in the stock master cylinder. Let me show you how this mounts. In retrospect, I don't think I would go, well, you don't need to go with the 600RR connector piece that's angled 45 degrees. It might be better to go with like an F4, the same part with the F4 that's going straight up and down. Let me show you what I mean here. Just one moment. Okay, so there's how it looks. Pretty cool. But yeah, if you look, it's not bad that it's angled that way. It goes up, you know, into the wheel well. I'm gonna get it going more straight up, more towards the front of the bike. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know, zip tie it up more like that. And I think that's not bad. That's a good spot, and it lets you use the whole length of the tube. But you know, with the F3 part, it would just go straight up. I thought there was going to be an issue with routing, but there really wouldn't be. And you see right to the right of the tube, that's the stock clip. It's not I mean, maybe you could use that. It's not really at a good angle. You kind of want you kind of want the air gap to be more vertical than horizontal. So I don't know. I'm not sure which is better, but I'm using that 45-degree one. I think it's good to go up in the wheel well. I don't see any issues really. But if you don't, you could make it really short. If you're going to make a really short one, it's probably better just to go straight up with the F3 part. But this is cool too. Yeah, it works. Either one will work. So here's the final setup. I don't have any zip ties, but I had this little Velcro strap thing, so that'll work good. But you could have zip tied to the stock, you know, the stock mount there. Again, you want to keep it vertical at the tip where the air gap is, so it's probably not a good idea to have it going sideways through the stock location. I could be wrong, but as far as I understand, you want that thing vertical at the tip. So there you go. Okay, there we are. It's all installed. You can see on the top there, you need to leave, I don't know, it's maybe about an inch from the end of the connector of air. When I filled this up, I hit the brake pedal a few times and I got one big bubble and then two tiny little bubbles. So I'm hoping that's it, but I'm going to bleed the rear brake anyway. Should probably do that. And that's it for this. Like I said, that 45-degree connector is good if you want to keep it long, but if you want to go shorter, just get the F3 connector. I'll leave the part number in the description. The only difference between cutting it and leaving it long is the more fluid you have, the longer it takes for it to overheat from brake use. Most people, you don't need it this long, like if you're racing for sure, but I just think it looks cool and it doesn't hurt. So you could go down to, you know, like I said earlier, you could just go to the top, you know, leave it on the frame, maybe 4 inches or whatever, 3 inches. Probably go 4 inches. I don't know, wouldn't go too much shorter than that. Looks cool though, it's gonna look cool. One last thing, since you stayed till the end of the video, this thing was so dirty, especially in that top left corner. It was really gross. It was hard to clean it out. So what I did was used what was it? Just liquid hydrogen peroxide. Get it in the first aid section. This was in a spray bottle, but you could just get just a liquid bottle, and I poured a little bit of that inside there, and I filled it with these brass. They were new. I left them out a couple days, so they're all gross now. But put some new copper BBs, and I just shook the heck out of it for about 30 minutes. And it cleaned up pretty good. Looks nice. Alright, thanks for watching.